one where traditionally governors want to make some sort of splash, whether it is a policy push or a big economic development announcement. And so our governor, Governor Justice, has hinted several times that he has something big to say. So you say to yourself, all right, well, we got that. And so why do we have a special session when the regular session is just ahead? So it appears to be to make way for that announcement, to have things in place so that that announcement can be credible and true as possible. So what
the announcement's going to be something having to do with economic development.
Yeah, a big splash, the governor has said. I know we're going to report some really, really exciting news about what's happening in the state of West Virginia, he said. Well,
we have one clue. We have one clue, Brad. There's going to be goodness involved because he said that.
There will be goodness. I think that was in the press release that announced the special session, that it was going to be focused on goodness, which is, not a word I'd ever heard used that way until this administration. But what is involved in this special session that is supposed to gavel in at 11 a.m. is a few bills that are meant to shift some money around. Some are supposed to take federal pandemic stimulus or relief money and shift that money into state agencies. Another is supposed to shift money into the State Department of Economic Development, and none of those really say how much or, kind of the blend of the shifts, but that's what's going on. And then the final one that I think is the big one that's going to enable the governor to make his big economic development announcement has to do with tax incentives that the state will provide under particular specific circumstances. And it doesn't really say what those are. It says based upon certain investment and employment thresholds to promote development and expansion of new labor and capital-intensive heavy industry in the state. So, you can kind of tell the boundaries there, but you don't really know exactly what it is. My take is it's written so specifically that it seems to apply to a specific business that the state has in mind.
This is not sort of a generic, let's get ready. This is I've got something I want to do, and to do that, I've got to line my ducks in a row here.
Yeah, and I got to do it by Wednesday, which is, to do all this in the regular session doesn't give you enough time to be able to have those ducks in a row and make the big announcement. So it's got to happen now. Yesterday, legislators, as you alluded, were already meeting. They're supposed to be in interim meetings, which is kind of backgrounding themselves on the issues of the day, trying to get deeper knowledge of the challenges facing West Virginia. And Economic Development Secretary Mitch Carmichael was supposed to appear at one of those meetings, and he did not, and the reason given was that he's got a lot on his plate otherwise right now. And in the course of that, heard through that announcement and by way of legislators kind of talking on the fly, legislators were meeting yesterday with representatives of this company, and they were doing it in private sessions called caucuses. So really, they're not supposed to say what happens in caucus stays in caucus usually, although there are some leakers. Legislators like to talk. So they have met yesterday with this company and now know a lot more about who it is and what to expect, and I think what the tax deal is and the potential employment of this company. So they are going to go into this vote better informed than they would have without those meetings. But, it's still a pretty quick process from the sound of it for something that could be significant tax incentives that the state's got to decide on.
All right, now look, you and your colleagues are pretty sharp at this. You've been digging around. You've been at least keeping your ear to the ground, which, now that I think about it's a funny image of you on the floor with your ear on the ground. But anyway, you've been keeping your ear to the ground. What are you actually hearing this is or could be?
Yeah, there is the word that comes up most is Nucor, Nucor. If you have your Google up, Nucor Steel of Charlotte, North Carolina, and that company is on the record publicly as saying that this was in September, evaluating locations in West Virginia, as well as Ohio and Pennsylvania for a big project, a new state-of-the-art 3 million ton sheet mill, which is expected to cost $2.7 billion. So that would be a BFD in the words of Joe Biden, a BFD. You can also
or
Google
goodness, in the words of the governor.
Yeah. The company also has announced that it was looking for sites for a second project, a smaller one, but in West Virginia would still be significant if it were to be the one. That is a rebar micro mill, and a micro mill, to my knowledge, is what it sounds like, kind of a small mill. And that is valued at $350 million. The company didn't specify states it was looking at, but did say the South Atlantic region. And, you take from those that location is important, that they want to be in a particular region of the country so that they can get their stuff to market. And West Virginia is, awfully conveniently located. Lawmakers yesterday were talking about jobs numbering 800 to 1,000. So, this would be significant employment for the state. The governor, I think, could be proud of making this kind of announcement. But the question that's out there, and again, we don't have the details, but are the tax breaks worth whatever the company is offering? West Virginia is often very, very hungry for employers and big jobs announcements, but it does sound like a trade-off, and there will be legitimate debate, I think, about whether that trade-off is worth it.
The lawmakers that you have talked to or heard from who have some sense of what's going on, or at least have heard the governor's call, are thinking this is a good thing? That's a question.
Many of them are. Many of them, are. It's an election year, and particularly those in the region that is said to be being assessed here. I have heard Mason County, but I am not ready to take that to the bank. I'm less confident about that than I am the name of the company. But both are in the realm of not certain. But I've heard Mason County. So lawmakers of either party in that region, want to have something to hang their hat on. They're pretty excited going into an election to say, look, we got this thing that we're going to do. There are other lawmakers who are skeptical of the tax breaks, and the shifting around of that money is a little bit of a puzzle too. Is it appropriate, or could we at least stand to have a better explanation of the federal stimulus dollars moving to state agencies, and then money apparently from generated surplus moving back into the Department of Economic Development? I for one, think that at least we deserve to explain that better to the citizens, whatever role that shift is playing. So that's a question that has come up. Yeah, go ahead.
As I was reading some things yesterday, so it sounds like, and I think you're saying this, what the governor wants to do is sweep some surplus money out of the various agencies right now, put it in economic development, but then use the federal rescue plan money to sort of replace that in the agencies. Is that kind of what he's trying to do, we think?
That is the way it potentially appears. It is not clear to me from reading sort of the bare bones outline of the governor's call for the special session if that is truly what is happening. But people have interpreted that way, and it does deserve greater explanation. So to get into process for a minute here, what I hope is that the Senate Committee or the House Finance Committee or both will take up these bills and ask, some pretty pivotal questions about them, so that you and I, Howard, and others wind up with a better explanation of what's happening here. But that is the way it looks. And even moving stimulus dollars into agencies' budgets like DHHR and others, the governor's press release described all those as an economic development move. So that's another thing that lends credence to the idea that, all right, we're going to move this money into these agencies. They are going to run a surplus, and then we will sweep the surplus to make way for economic development. That's the way it looks, but I haven't heard a great explanation so far.
Let me ask you this, Brad. This is a special session being called today to deal with these issues. You talk about sending them off to committee and so on. Is there enough time between now and Wednesday to thoroughly vet this idea?
I have wondered that myself. I mean, lawmakers, when I last checked in, had not received bills, and unfortunately, those sometimes come a bit late. You and I are talking here at 7:30 a.m., and this special session is supposed to gavel in at 11. That doesn't mean that lawmakers have to take action at the stroke of 11, but the governor's idea seems to be, all right, well, we're going to get moving on these things. I think it would be better government, certainly. I don't think I'm going out too far on a limb here to say that if lawmakers had a chance to read the bills thoroughly and digest them and ask questions, you'd get a better product. So I also have wondered if there's really adequate time for a full understanding.
Because the governor's timetable basically is introduce it today, and I'm hearing you say that the legislators haven't even seen the bills yet, and there will be multiple bills, I guess. So the governor introduces his bills today. Theoretically, there would be some sort of vetting process through some committees, I'm guessing. It's got to get to passage. It's got to get passed before Wednesday evening at 7 o'clock or whatever time the state is. I mean, it's a pretty short time frame to me. And the only thing that concerns me about that is, do we end up with a bill that's not fully vetted if we're going to be talking about a huge amount of money and tax relief and so on? Don't have an answer to that. I'm just raising that as a question.
I felt better upon hearing that lawmakers of both chambers and both parties had opportunities yesterday to talk to representatives of this company. So that generated some confidence for me. But even if you think, all right, this company is on the up and up, it's a good player, it will be worth having here. I think that's one question that is valid and good, and we've gone fairly far in those introductions. Even if you conclude that, how this money is shifting and the way the tax breaks are set up are not uncomplicated, and those are separate but related questions. So I again, as a citizen, will feel better if these bills go to committee, hopefully today, if not today, early tomorrow. And that'll help answer some of the questions that you asked, and we'll move along a little further. And it'll be a public airing of this. It's funny, the governor obviously wants to make an announcement, but because he wants it to be kind of a surprise, look at what we're doing, the public process up to now has been kind of open, widely hinted at, but also kind of a big secret. So it's this weird dynamic where there's a pretty big public interest, but also you want to make the impact of the announcement at the speech.
Well, we'll hear more about this when the session starts. The special session starts at 11 this morning. And then, Brad, I wanted to talk very briefly with you because I'm not sure how this bill, which may become, or this announcement, which may become the defining part of the State of the State speech, how does that affect the rest of the session? I had planned to have you on today to simply talk about what do you expect the governor to say. Now we know this will be probably a big factor. And setting this aside, what else is coming? What other things do you expect the governor to talk about on Wednesday? And or what other issues do you expect to be front and center in the regular session that does start on Wednesday?
Yeah, the governor, so this announcement will wind up, I think, being the biggest splash out of that speech. And the governor has also already talked about his desire for an average 5% pay increase for state workers, as well as the associated bonus. So those big things are already out there, and I would expect the legislature will deal with them early on. So what else? We reporters had an annual event called Legislative Look Ahead on Friday, and just to take you behind the scenes, it's normally panel discussions live and in person, and for the second year in a row, it was online only. It was planned to be everybody together this year, and there actually was a specific COVID case that led to it going online. That kind of illustrates how I think the two things I mentioned, obviously the economic development announcement needs to be taken care of during special session, but I think the pay raise is probably going to happen early. The legislative session is supposed to be happening normal-ish, live, in person, no mask rules, no locking down of committee rooms, just sort of normal this year. But there were all kinds of hints that legislative leaders are acknowledging that things could go sideways as we deal with Omicron. It is so contagious. We hope milder consequences, but if you get Omicron sweeping through everybody, who knows what's going to happen? So it would be, I think, to everybody's benefit to handle those big issues first. But I do think the legislative session will be chugging on. Speaker Hanshaw has mentioned a couple things. He wants to do a site readiness bill dealing with economic development so that your companies can, just decide quickly, all right, West Virginia is the place for us. They've got a site ready. We want to roll in there and get ready for market. So that's one that he says will be early in the House's agenda. And Speaker Hanshaw, whose wife is a teacher, has said that the legislature has done a lot over the last few years, raising the amount of money overall going into the state's education system, but that he is not fully confident that those efforts are paying off at the lowest grade levels. And so he wants to bolster those grade levels with aides in every classroom, first and second grade, which would be, a few $1 million to hire those employees. But that is, on Speaker Hanshaw's personal agenda, one of the top things that he wants to do. So, I mean, there are not many more splashy things.
The teachers union has been asking for, too.
Yeah, and Dale Lee, president of the West Virginia Education Association, was on a panel Friday, and he favored it, but does want assurances or wants to watch the bill to make sure that you don't add aides to classrooms and then raise the number of students in those classrooms. He wants to be assured that it's really going to give each individual student more contact with an adult who is meant to be there to help them get through those early grades. So, it sounded to me like Speaker Hanshaw's heart is in it, and he really, that is his intent, to make sure you've got both a teacher and an aide in classrooms that are reasonable sizes. So we'll see where that one goes, too.
Well, Brad, we'll be with you a lot throughout this week. You'll be doing a lot of reporting for Metro News, so I know we'll be keeping on top of everything. I have one more important question to ask you, because I did see Stephen Allen Adams posted a picture of his snack drawer yesterday. And do you have your snacks all ready for the session?
Man, he's prepared, and he is ahead of me. He's got his all in his drawer at the Capitol. I keep mine at home and then put a few in a backpack each day, knowing, we may be on the run. So I am hoping to take a healthier approach to it this year, maybe some carrots, maybe some chopped veggies, maybe some peanut butter items. So we'll see how that goes. Got to be hydrating. Remember to take some bottled water. But I hope to be well snacked on a daily basis.
All right, sir. We will talk to you, no doubt, throughout the session. Thanks for joining me so early this morning. I appreciate it. We'll talk again soon.
Thanks, Howard.
Thanks, Brad. Brad McElhenney, State House reporter for Metro News. We'll be talking to him a lot as the session gets underway. The special session starts today, this economic development thing, apparently designed for Nucor Steel. We kind of sort of know a bit about it, but not all the details. More of those will come out later this morning, and then the regular session, State of the State, on Wednesday evening, and then the session begins actually officially on Wednesday at noon, but goes into Thursday to actually get started. And our Capitol report from Metro News will be coming up in the next hour of the show. We start it today. It'll be a regular daily report from the Capitol with Jeff Jenkins and the gang. Now, what else are we doing today? Well, of course, first of all, the weather is of some concern, frigid temperatures, potentially icy roads. Aaron's buying only a minute or two to talk about that. The State of the State speech coming up and all of the legislative matters, we got that to deal with. Wheeling Planning Commission tonight receives a request from City Council to review those suggested changes to neighborhood zoning we've talked about the last couple of weeks. Vice Mayor Chad Thalman is a big supporter of these deals, and he's coming in to talk to us about that today. Ohio County COVID case count increases by over 200 for the second week in a row. The test lines are long. Home tests are hard to get. What is going on? We'll talk about that. Ogilvy's Good Zoo auctioning off their train. I've got some memories of the old train I want to share with you. Maybe you do too. Some of what I have coming up here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Quick news and sports break, and then we'll check in with Aaron to see what's happening out there in the world of weather. Coming up next on the Watchdog Morning Show.
The WTRF Channel 7 News Update is brought to you by Thomas Auto Centers, Mall Road, St. Clairsville. Get the best deal at Thomas Auto Centers.
Now it's time for your local news headlines from 7 News at WTRF, My Ohio Valley, and ABC Ohio Valley. Only on AM 1600 WKKX. The Watchdog.
Good Monday morning, Ohio Valley. I'm Stephen Ruffing with your 7 News headlines. Governor Jim Justice says he has big plans for the Mountain State's economy. He's calling the legislature back early to get them rolling. He's calling a special session this morning at 11. There are several bills for lawmakers to act on. The first, called the West Virginia Industrial Advancement.
Metro News Sports, good morning. I'm Kyle Wiggs. The Mountaineers got leading scorer Taz Sherman back, plus Gabos.
A rollover crash in Belmont County. Officers say it happened Friday night around 10 o'clock near Bel Air. They confirmed to 7 News a driver hit an AEP utility pole but fled from officials. The driver's identity is not yet known, so we will keep you updated as this story develops. With the recent drop in temperatures and an increase of ice and snow, don't forget about your 4-legged friends. If you're cold, they're probably cold too. Ohio County Animal Shelter employee Wendy Neubauer says you need to protect them from the elements. She recommends when it's 32 degrees or lower outside, not to have them out for longer than 30 minutes. If you notice animal neglect, you're urged to tell someone. You can contact Animal Control, the Humane Society, or local law enforcement. That was a look at your headlines. Have a great day, everyone.
Metro News Sports, good morning. I'm Kyle Wiggs. The Mountaineers got leading scorer Taz Sherman back, plus Gabo Saboyan and Kobe Johnson for Saturday's Big 12 win over Kansas State. Sherman scored 14 points in his return from COVID protocols in a week where he couldn't do much with no classes yet and no basketball.
I don't know. It's different. Again, like when your life is more than half of the day is revolved around basketball and you don't have it, mine was spent watching shows, playing Call of Duty, or sleeping. And the rotation repeated every day. So it got pretty boring, but, glad to be back.
The Mountaineers trailed by as many as 17 points. They were down by 13 at the half. West Virginia now 1-1 in Big 12 play. They'll host Oklahoma State Tuesday, play at Kansas on Saturday. The WVU women's basketball team fell to 0-2 in Big 12 play with a 71-61 home court loss to Kansas State on Saturday. Former West Virginia receiver Winston Wright is bound for Tallahassee and Florida State. Wright announced on social media Sunday night he'll play at Florida State in 2022. He was West Virginia's leading receiver this year. He had 63 catches, 688 yards, 5 touchdowns, playing in all 13 games for the Mountaineers. as well. You're listening to Metro News, the voice of West Virginia. Wild Card weekend coming up in the NFL. 6 games spread out over 3 days. Saturday at 4:30, it's Las Vegas against Cincinnati. Saturday at 8:15, New England against Buffalo. 3 games on Sunday, 1 o'clock, Philadelphia at Tampa Bay. 4:30, San Francisco at Dallas. Sunday night, the Steelers will play at Kansas City. Then on Monday night, first ever wild card game on Monday night, Arizona at the Rams. From the Metro News Sports Desk, I'm Kyle Wiggs.
Insulate your home and lower energy costs with Guardian by Knopf Insulation. It offers year-round comfort and is perfect for both commercial and residential projects. Stay warm and save up to 15% on heating costs, too, even on the coldest days. Pick up some fiberglass blown-in insulation for easy installation. It's perfect for walls, attics, and floors. Get yours today for only $29.99 per bag after a $5 mail-in rebate. See store for details. Check it out at Menards.
Save big money at Menards.
Introducing our new redesigned 7 News app. Our new app features a sleek, modern design, an easy-to-navigate home screen with quick access to local news content and a localized weather forecast. Subscribing to notifications is easier, and with one tap, you have access to recent push notifications. There are more ways to watch and find video. To get the new WTRF 7 News app, just update the latest version or download the WTRF 7 News app in your Apple or Google Play Store by searching WTRF.
The new year is here, and so are the new Toyotas. So visit your dealer and reserve yours today. Like the all-new Tundra, redesigned from the ground up and engineered for uncompromising power. Or explore the brand new Corolla Cross with available all-wheel drive and more cargo room than ever. Visit your Toyota dealer today or go online to buyatoyota.com, the official website for deals. Hurry, offers end January 31st. Toyota, let's go places.
Hello, Ohio Valley. This is Kate Delaney inviting you to join me overnight here on the Watchdog. Whether it's talking to big names in entertainment or sports, discussing the latest political news, or just chatting about life, I'll be here to keep you company on the Watchdog, WVLY AM 1370, FM 97.7, or online at watchdognetwork.com.
Live and local for the Ohio Valley. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Capital Report from Charleston coming up in the next hour of the show. Chad Thalman, Vice Mayor of the City of Wheeling, and I will talk about some proposed zoning code changes and the longtime train at Ogilby's Good Zoo is going away. We'll talk about that. But right now, let's talk about the weather. Aaron Myler is here from the Big 7 WTRF TV. Aaron, good morning.
Good morning. How are you guys?
I was mentioning to Biff earlier, the phrase I used for yesterday's weather was crappy. I just thought it was crappy yesterday.
It was not a great day out there by any means.
It was just cold and perpetually drizzly and cloudy and one of those days that you just didn't even want to be out. I wanted to be in, wrapped up in a blanket and reading a book.
Yeah, it was a good day. I did not leave the house once yesterday. It was the perfect day for that kind of vibe.
Today's going to be a little bit better, though.
Yeah, today's a little bit better. We're going to have cloudy, and there's going to be some sun peeking through, so I'm going to say mostly cloudy. But the main thing you'll notice today is going to just be the cold. It's 25 degrees for the high. This morning, I couldn't get my door. I was telling Biff a second ago, my doors, I had to really pry at them to get them open because whatever water was left in there froze, and then just made it hard to open your door this morning. But yeah, it'll be cold. It'll be breezy, which will make your feels like temperatures even colder. And then, right now we're seeing some flurries, and we'll probably see that same general story throughout the day here, just some flurries on and off. So a couple snowflakes expected. Luckily, tomorrow going to be sunnier, still cold, but sunnier tomorrow. And then temperatures, as we get into the middle of the week, will start to warm up a little bit more, getting back to where we normally would be in the upper 30s. So we'll see that starting on Wednesday. And then, just getting cloudier as we get into second half of Wednesday and then Thursday.
Cold outside right now, 19 at the airport with a feels like of 8. So we're into the single digits. That's cold. Baby, that's cold outside.
Oh, it's so cold. It's it's one of those days we're going to see those feels like temperatures just staying colder. So, yeah, I mean, yeah, it's just going to be cold.
Not much else to say. That's it. It's
I
gonna
was
be
trying
cold.
to think of it. I was like, I mean, it is what
It's
it
cold.
is.
Put on your jacket and your mittens and your scarf, and if you're out and about today, and it's not going to get a whole lot warmer. 20, we say 25 for the high. So,
25. Which with the
it's just-
feels
it's
like
just-
temperatures, that's probably going to feel like it's actually in the like mid-teens for most of the day. So even though it will like warm up technically, it'll feel cold still.
Yep. So be prepared. Not quite as crappy as yesterday was, but certainly cold. Be prepared for that. So
Exactly.
I think again, I may just stay in. What the heck?
I mean, hey, if you don't have to leave, why not? I feel like that's half the winter, though.
Well,
You don't
that's, that's true. Not gonna. I'm looking at this all the way through the 7 days. Not going to get dramatically warm. I mean, we will warm up from today certainly, but I guess seasonable is what the week looks like as I look at it over in its entirety. Yes.
Exactly, yeah. So normally 37 is our high temperature, and that's what we're going to, I mean, after we get to like Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, we'll start to get back to that normal temperature more. So we'll get there slowly but surely. But yeah, today and tomorrow is definitely going to be cold. But we're not getting warm. We're just getting back to where we normally would be. But I mean, 25 or 37 degrees, I'll take 30s, upper 30s.
Well, yeah. But look at those overnight lows. Tonight going to go down to 11 degrees overnight low.
Yeah, exactly. We're getting, like, it's just going to be a very cold night tonight. A lot of these nights are not going to be quite as cold, but I mean, either way, that's a cold start to your day because it always seems like the lows are like, oh, that's what happens after midnight. No, that happens at like right before the sun rises. So early in the morning, we'll just keep it cold. But I mean, again, it is January, so I'm not that shocked. But 11 still is lower than we normally would be. Our normal overnight low would be 22. So definitely another cold start to tomorrow morning.
Yeah, you want to make sure your furnace is working for tonight. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And that 11 probably will. That'll probably be a feels like. That could push you close to zero. What it feels like, depending on the breeze.
Yep.
All right.
Yeah, so the breeze are going to calm down as we go overnight, but I mean, even like a few mile-an-hour breeze, which is a normal thing to have, could still make it will still drop it some. So we're probably going to see feels like temperatures close to zero tomorrow morning, like you just said. Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, as you said, it is January, so we'll learn to live with it. What can we do, right? It's that time of year.
You can move to Florida.
It'll be all right. Yeah. Well, that's the other option, and I kind of like where I am, so I think I'll stay. All right. Hope you had a good weekend. Did you have a good weekend?
Yeah, it was fun. I just kind of did nothing for most of the weekend, but it was a nice. I mean, as you said, yesterday was a great do-nothing day because that's just. I mean, it was just not nice.
Well, and sometimes there's nothing wrong with doing nothing. By the way.
Yeah, we were saying earlier in the show. We're like, sometimes it's just nice to have a weekend where you just kind of do nothing and lay around and just have a lazy weekend, which is always nice.
I like lazy weekends, but then again, I got to be honest. I like lazy weekdays. I like lazy. All right, let's just be honest. I'm kind of lazy. I mean, I just like it that way.
Yeah, I think for better or for worse, I think most
Sit
of
around
us
and
would love to be lazy.
Yep. 5,000 Americans were asked if they ever feel guilty about taking a full day to do nothing. 42% said if they take a day for nothing, if they take a day to just be lazy, they feel guilty. 58% do not feel guilty. I do not feel guilty if I take the day.
Me neither.
I'm in the not feel guilty. I don't feel guilty about that at all. The older you are, the less likely you are to feel guilty. Yeah, we old folks, we don't care about being lazy. Doesn't bother us. 36% of people over 45 say they feel bad about being lazy or about doing nothing. 53% of people under 25. So there you go. Doing nothing. I'm in for doing nothing whenever I can. All right, Aaron, appreciate your time today. As always good to talk to you, and I thank you for your visit today.
Perfect. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Thanks a lot. Appreciate it. Aaron Myler from the Big 7, WTRF TV, checking in this morning here on the Watchdog Morning Show. Biff, do you feel guilty when you take a day to do nothing?
No, I think you, every once in a while, it's good to take a day and do nothing.
Yeah, I enjoy it. Let's see, Saturday, Teddy was off. He went with some friends and did some things, and he and his mom and dad did things. And so I don't think we saw him much, if at all, on Saturday. Now, it kind of makes Granddad sad. It's like, oh, what am I going to do without Teddy here to play with? But it was just a day, so we just laid around and watched a little TV and, I read a little bit and, okay, I napped a lot. I'm good. When all else fails, never hurts to take a nap. So I don't feel guilty about it. I don't feel guilty about it at all. Not at all. Let me see here. Oh, the college football championships are here. To celebrate, FanDuel Sportsbook is booking new customers with up to 30-1 enhanced odds for either team to win. That means you can bet $5 and win $150 on FanDuel with either team to win in the college football championships. Just sign up for FanDuel Sportsbook using my name, Monroe, in the promo code box. Make a deposit to claim your 30-1 enhanced odds. There is no better place to bet college football than on America's #1 sportsbook. Simple and easy to use, great new deals almost every single day, safe, secure, wonderful customer service, and when you win, FanDuel pays you your winnings in as little as 2 hours. Already have FanDuel Sportsbook? They're hooking customers up with $50 if you refer a friend, plus your friend will get $50 too. If you're a FanDuel customer, you have a little referral code in your app. Take that referral code, send it to a friend. If they sign up, you get $50 to use on FanDuel. They get $50 to use on FanDuel. That's a pretty good deal. And so don't miss your chance to win $150 off a $5 bet on the college football championships. Start by downloading the FanDuel Sportsbook today or head to sportsbook.fanduel.com. Sign up using my promo code Monroe to get 30-1 odds on either team to win. And here we go. As always, you must be 21 or older, physically present in West Virginia, new users only. $10 first deposit required. You must wager in designated offer markets. Maximum bonus $150. Restrictions do apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. If money for gambling is part of your entertainment dollar and you enjoy it and it doesn't cause a problem for you, go for it. FanDuel is your place. But if you have a gaming problem, don't forget to call or visit 1-800-GAMBLER, 1-800-GAMBLER.net, or call 1-800-GAMBLER. FanDuel Sportsbook, more ways to win.
Are you traveling? Working a little bit too much? Is your fur baby starting to get a little shaggy?
One in three. That means it could be you, your football buddy, your football buddy, or you, your best man, your worst man, you, your dog walker, your cat jogger. While 1 in 3 adults has prediabetes, with early diagnosis, prediabetes can be reversed. Take the risk test at doihaveprediabetes.org. Brought to you by the Ad Council and its prediabetes awareness partners.
CA House Music has all the gear to make your music legendary. With all the best gear, including Fender, Epiphone, Yamaha, and more, CA House will have you rocking in no time. Get the most for your money with everyday low prices. And we meet or beat internet pricing. Play before you buy and let our product specialists help you pick out the instrument that's right for you. CA House Music, supporting local musicians since 1872. Play music for life.
If you missed us the first time, keep going. You'll find us just down the dial. AM 1600 and 1370, FM 98.1 and 97.7. We are the Watchdog.
On the last talk line on Metro News, we were getting the very latest on the winter storm that walloped West Virginia.
Down in Winter Place, they were reporting about 8 inches of snow. That's in Raleigh County. Moving up to Pocahontas County, where Snowshoe is located, they're reporting about 13 inches of snow. In the Canaan Valley area, both Timberline and Canaan are reporting 13.5 inches of snow.
Keep up on what's happening in West Virginia. Talk line weekdays at 10:06 on this Metro News radio station.
Watch out! He could climb on his soapbox at any time. The Watchdog Morning Show with Howard Monroe continues.
Well, Hoppy will be talking a lot about the legislature coming up in the next, in the 10 o'clock hour here on the Watchdog. Special session begins at 11 o'clock. Before Hoppy's show is over, we'll know what the governor specifically is asking for in that special session. State of the State is on Wednesday. Lots of stuff to preview in the State of the State speech. And we'll have the first of our daily Capitol reports coming up after ABC covers the world next. We'll also talk to Wheeling's Vice Mayor Chad Thalman coming up in the next hour about those zoning change proposals he and the mayor have for the city. All coming up on the Watchdog Morning Show, where it's 8 o'clock.
The Watchdog is FM 98.1, AM 1600 WKKX Wheeling, FM 97.7, AM 1370 WVLY Moundsville.
From
Okay, Biff, I don't know what the problem with video is. Looks like I've lost it here again. Plus, it has not gone up online. Hasn't gone up online since Wednesday for any of our shows. So I don't know what the problem there is. I've gotten some people ask me about it. I don't know, nothing I can do about it. Anyway, just... couldn't do it. All right. Well, I don't either. Nothing I can do about it at this point. See what we can figure out later. But I don't think it's worked since Wednesday. So I think you're right. Somebody did something on Wednesday. Don't know who or what, but well. Well, there is that too. All right. Well, we will leave it alone for now and worry about it later. You have the Capitol report. All right. We'll do that right after the news, and then Chad should be 8:15. And boy, this coffee is good. I'm going to get some more. I'll be back in a minute.